they are non-cellular organisms, they are microscopic organisms, they can be infectious agents, and the main characteristic is the viruses, they replicate inside a host cell. We do not classify viruses as living organisms or as non-living organism, and this is due to the fact that they possess certain defining characteristic features of living organism and certain defining characteristic features of the non-living entities. तो virus तभी active होगा when it is inside a host's body. When it is outside a host's body, it will never work, it will never function. This is a generalized structure of a virus. Viruses, they contain RNA or DNA. RNA, you all know, ribonucleic acid, and DNA also, you all know, deoxyribonucleic acid. So they contain either RNA or DNA as their genetic material. Okay. So what could be the structure? They are very tiny microorganisms. They are even smaller than the bacteria, and they do not possess a cell wall, but they have a protective outer covering which is made up of proteins, and that is called a capsid. Now, some viruses have DNA as their genetic material, and some viruses have RNA as their genetic material. What could be the characteristic features of the viruses? Again, on the borderline of living and non-living things. Non-cellular organisms only reproduce when they are inside the host's body. All right, these are a few characteristic features of the viruses. Influenza virus, the virus which causes flu in organisms. This is the structure of influenza virus. You can see the central part, we call the central part as the core, C-O-R-E, core. The core of this influenza virus is made up of a coiled strand of RNA. That means influenza virus is an RNA virus. Acha. Classification of viruses on the basis of their genome or on the basis of their genotype. You all know the differences between genotype and phenotype. We have done it in Junior 3. So on the basis of their genotypes, viruses can be categorized either as the DNA virus or as the RNA virus. If they have deoxyribonucleic acid as their genetic material, it is a DNA virus. If they have ribonucleic acid as a genetic material, they are called RNA viruses. Some examples of the DNA viruses could be the herpes virus, and some examples of RNA virus बहुत मशहूर ज़माना virus आजकल का. What is that? Coronavirus. Good, Mahad. So coronavirus is an example of RNA virus. Other than corona, we have the rabies virus, the polio virus, the hepatitis virus. The dangerous ones, they all are examples of RNA viruses. That was all about viruses. इससे ज़्यादा detail required नहीं है, इससे ज़्यादा detail करनी भी नहीं है. That's it. List of some viral diseases. COVID-19, top of the list. मैंने सबसे आखिर में लिखी है. Then we have AIDS, we have Ebola, influenza, and chikungunya का भी आप लोग ने नाम सुना होगा. Okay. Mahad is saying that DNA viruses are generally more difficult to kill, like rabies. Yes, rabies is the example of RNA virus. Okay. Next is kingdom prokaryote. What can you see on the slide? Can you see a bacterial cell? Can you all see a bacterial cell? Okay, good. So
Yes.
if we talk about, good, Adina. If we talk about kingdom prokaryote, another name, a synonym for kingdom prokaryote is kingdom Monera. This kingdom, either we can say Monera or we can say prokaryote, it consists of two major organisms. One is bacteria and other is the blue green algae. तो इन दो organisms को हमने याद रखना है. One is bacteria, the major organism belonging to this kingdom, and the other is the blue green algae. Again, what are the characteristic features of prokaryotes? When we were doing in our previous class the differences between eukaryotes and prokaryotes, I hope you can recall. Prokaryotes are those organisms which do not have any membrane bound organelles. So bacteria are unicellular organisms and they do not have any membrane bound organelles. They do possess a DNA, that is a genetic material, but that DNA is not bounded by a nuclear membrane. It is present, but it is not bounded by a nuclear membrane. बिल्कुल स्पाइरल शेप में प्रेजेंट होता है लेकिन न्यूक्लियस के अंदर नहीं होता, बिकॉज देयर इज नो न्यूक्लियर मेम्ब्रेन सराउंडिंग द न्यूक्लियस. Other membrane bound organelles are also absent in this kingdom. What are those membrane bound organelles that are absent in this kingdom? They include the Golgi bodies, they include the lysosomes, the mitochondria, the endoplasmic reticulum. All of these membrane bound organelles are absent. Then some of the organisms belonging to this kingdom, including the bacteria, they have special structures for locomotion. Locomotion is the movement from one place to another. So what are those special structures which are there for the purpose of locomotion? They are called the flagella. Plural is flagella and singular is flagellum. So flagella are the locomotory organs. If we talk about the method of reproduction, yes, they do reproduce as they are living things. Which method? By asexual method. I hope you all can recall the differences between sexual and asexual reproduction. So bacteria, they are reproducing asexually. Some of the bacteria, they are autotrophs, and some of the bacteria are some of the organisms belonging to this kingdom are autotrophs, while other are heterotrophs. Okay, now if we talk about the structure of bacteria, again it is microscopic organism, and some of the bacteria are harmful, some of the bacteria are good bacteria. They do not contain the membrane bound organelles as well as the nucleus, and they are surrounded by the cell wall and the cell membrane only. Coming to the shapes of bacteria, some of the bacteria are rod shaped, some bacteria can be spherical in shape, some bacteria can be flagellated, some of the bacteria are kidney shaped or comma shaped. So we scientifically we give names to all the shapes of the bacteria. Again, you are going to study it in your higher classes. Next, this is a diagram on your screen which is showing you the method of reproduction in bacteria. How are the bacteria reproducing? So the method of reproduction by which the bacteria reproduce, it's the asexual reproduction. And any of you, if you can recall, what is the difference between sexual and asexual reproduction? Mahad, would you? Iman? Ahmed Raza, yes. Okay, Ahmed Raza, kindly answer. What is the difference between asexual and sexual reproduction? Yes, Ahmed.
Asexual reproduction are those in which two types of genes are involved. Two types of genes are involved, and asexual reproduction is that in which only one gene is involved.
Okay, good. Now, sexual reproduction is the type of reproduction where the fusion of gametes is occurring. Male gametes and female gametes are involved. If we talk about asexual reproduction, no fusion of gametes are involved, and the organism is making copies of itself. So bacteria, they are reproducing asexually, and the method of reproduction here in bacteria, the asexual method of reproduction is termed as binary fission. Binary fission में क्या हो रहा है? Fission means the division of a single body into two or more parts. So if you can see the diagram A, it's representing a bacterial cell. In part B, what is happening? In part B, the chromosomes are replicating, and then in part C, the cell is dividing, and then the information, the separate entities or the separate bodies are formed by regeneration. Okay, this is how a bacteria reproduces asexually. Ahmed Zain, correct. Ayan Khan, correct. Okay, next is kingdom Protista. Mahad was just questioning, "K miss, where are amoebas classified?" So here are amoebas classified. Let's begin with the kingdom Protista. Now, just like kingdom Prokaryote is also known as kingdom Monera, kingdom Protista is also called kingdom Protoctista. कोई सा भी नाम हम ले सकते हैं, either Protista or Protoctista. Over here in this slide, you can see a structure of an organism belonging to kingdom Protista, which has a flagellum. All the labelings are mentioned. Okay, next. Now, what are protists? This term Protista, it is derived from a Greek word, and that Greek word is protistos. This protistos means the very first. Now, organisms in this kingdom, they are neither animals, they are neither plants, they are nor fungi. So, what are basically the organisms in this kingdom? So, the organisms, they are considered as the first eukaryotic forms of life and as a predecessor to the animals and the fungi and the plants. The organisms which are in kingdom Protista or Protoctista are unicellular in nature, and sometimes they also occur as a colony of cells. Okay, now what are the characteristic features? Sometimes the organisms are aquatic, sometimes the organisms in this kingdom are present in the soil or in areas where there is where there is moisture present. They are unicellular organisms, but some organisms like the giant kelps can be multicellular. KELPS, kelps. Okay. Then some of the organisms, they have locomotory organs such as the flagella. Some organisms have the locomotory organs which are cilia, and some organisms like amoeba belonging to this kingdom has the locomotory organ which is known as pseudopodia. Pseudopodia. Cytoplasmic streaming is the method by which it's moving. The organ is called pseudopodia or false feet. तो कौन से organisms आ गए इस kingdom में? Let's have a look. I guess I have a picture attached over here. Here, amoeba is there. Then we have chlamydomonas. Amoeba is moving by the help of pseudopodia, which are also called false feet. Chlamydomonas and euglena are moving by flagella, and paramecium has cilia and it can move by the help of cilia. Okay, these are some of the organisms. Then further classification of this kingdom is not required over here. We are not going to go in detail, but this kingdom can be classified into protozoa, molds, and algae. Three further types: protozoa, molds, and algae. That's it. इतना ही याद रख लें, ये काफी है. This is the I've taken this picture from a book, and these are the different types of algae. Okay, then comes kingdom fungi or fungi. कुछ भी pronounce कर सकते हैं. This is the kingdom which we had done in Junior 3 2.5 unit 2.5 decomposers when we were doing. So we had done fungi and we have a little knowledge about this kingdom. Now, what are the characteristic features of this kingdom? Again, they are eukaryotic organisms. And what do they include? इस kingdom में कौन से organisms हैं? There are yeasts, there are molds, and there are mushrooms. And these organisms, since they do not possess chlorophyll, that means they are not photosynthetic, so they are not autotrophs. जब autotrophs नहीं हैं, lack chlorophyll कर रहे हैं, तो they are heterotrophs. They store their food in the form of starch, and their method of reproduction could either be sexual or it could be asexual. Some of the fungi, they are parasitic in nature. and parasitic means they can infect the host. Structure कैसा है fungi का? I have a here. If you can see on your screens, a structure of fungi is over there. They have a filamentous structure, and at the top of the structure, a spherical body is present, which is called sporangium. And inside the sporangium, tiny dots are present, which are the spores. We have done this structure in junior 3 as well, so no difficulty should be there in recalling this structure. Again, और क्या होता है? They are single celled organisms, or they can be multicellular organisms, and they have these thread like structures which are called the thread like structure, hyphae. Good, they are called the hyphae. When many hyphae join together, बहुत सारे hyphae की जो collection होती है उसको एक term देते हैं, that is mycelium. You can see over here there is the hyphae are branching off, and collectively they are termed as mycelium. The cell wall of the fungi, again, because they are not autotrophs, they are not belonging to the plant kingdom, so their cell wall is not made up of cellulose. Instead, their cell wall is made up of polysaccharides and chitin. Polysaccharides means many sugars. Poly means many and saccharides means sugars. जैसे हमने glucose को पढ़ा था कि it's a monosaccharide. Mono means one and saccharide means sugar. So the cell wall of the fungus or the fungi is made up of polysaccharides. Poly means many and saccharides means sugar. And it is also made up of another substance which is known as chitin. Chitin. They have a cell wall and the cell membrane as well. And the nucleus is also there, and the nucleus is surrounded by a proper nuclear membrane. Here you can see the nucleus is labeled in the hyphae of the fungus. Okay, now on the basis of the mode of nutrition. On the basis of the mode of nutrition, the fungi can be classified into 4 groups. They can be saprophytes, they can be parasites, they can be 3 groups basically. यहाँ पर 4 लिख दिया मैंने, इसको correct कर लेंगे. Saprophytes, parasites and symbiotic fungi. Symbiotic का मतलब ये होता है कि 2 organisms are living in a relationship, in a mutual relationship, and both the organisms are benefiting from each other. Okay, so some of the fungi are saprophytes. Saprophytes means they obtain their energy by feeding on dead organic matter. Parasitic fungi, they means that the fungi are obtaining their nutrition by living on other living organisms. And symbiotic means that they are living an interdependent relationship and in association with other species, and in such a relationship both the organisms are mutually benefited. तो आज की क्लास में हमने ये 3 kingdoms along with viruses करने थे. Do fungi take in nutrition? Yes, Umema Sayyed, they do, but their food is digested. What is the difference between fungus and human? The mode of digestion of fungus in human. किसको याद है? Mahad? याद है? Alize Agha. Yes, Alize, you are raising your hand. Yes, Alize. Alize, you want to say something? No? Then please don't raise your hand. Yes, correct. The digestion occurs outside the body in fungus, whereas inside the body in humans. All right, so that was all about the kingdoms. Okay, last slide, uses of fungi. Fungi kahan use ho rahe? In recycling the dead and the decayed matter. Then as food, we are eating some okay, it's okay, Alize. If it was by mistake, please be careful next time. In food, mushrooms, बड़े शौक से हम लोग पिज्जा में mushrooms डाल के खा रहे होते हैं. So some are edible fungi. And if we talk about medicines, are fungus or fungi used in medicines? Are they used in medicines? If yes,
Yes,
किसी
ma'am.
किसको याद है कौन सी मेडिसिन कौन सा फंगस द फर्स्ट एंटीबायोटिक you must have done in grade 5. The first antibiotic was, yes, Ahmed Raza has raised his hand. Yes, Ahmed.
Ma'am, it was penicillin.
Excellent. Penicillin was the first antibiotic which was derived from a fungus called penicillium. Good, Ayan. Good, Abdullah Amir. Penicillin was the first antibiotic and it was derived from the fungus which was called penicillium. तो fungi के ये uses भी हो गए. Done. That was all about our today's class.